Hey, what it do, YouTube? It's your boy Q. And today I wanted to talk about one of the hottest teams out of APAC South right now, if not arguably the hottest team. And for some of the people, I should say, who are unfamiliar with Iron Blood Gaming, it might have seemed like they came out of nowhere. They were previously known as Chicken Sandwich. It might have almost seemed like one of those overnight success stories, but like a lot of those overnight success stories, we know that's not necessarily always the case. So I am super excited to sit down with part of the duo that I actually told Fallout to be on the lookout for heading into the season for some top free agent teams for pickup. So before we get started, StrafingFlame, thank you so much for taking some time sitting down with your boy. I know we're a couple of weeks away from London here, so I know you're super busy. I really appreciate you taking some time sitting down with me. Seriously, I really appreciate you. But most importantly, how are you doing today? And tell us a little bit about yourself, my friend.
Thank you for asking. I am holding up. Scrims have been quite horrendous. Can't wait to get to London and play on 30 ping instead of 300.
Yes, that was definitely something we talked about with Exodus a little bit earlier this week. I can imagine it's quite frustrating.
Yeah. Player has been lagging the same amount as Exodus's tweets. Like
Yeah.
Killapause, the way he plays, everyone teleporting all over the place. Same things have been happening to us.
I feel it. And I know especially when those first landings, I think you guys are getting contested in scrims quite a bit, right? On your drops?
No. Actually, we're getting contested in Command Center by 100 Thieves, but that's about it.
Okay. Because I know when I do like some spectating on that like 300 ping when I'm working in the APAC region, I know that first couple, 45, 60 seconds can be really horrendous. So I'm sure those contest drops are pretty tough. But,
Yeah.
we saw Chicken Sandwich really take APAC South by storm this season. But before we get to that, I realized that I said earlier how like overnight successes, they're rarely just that. They're overnight successes. I know you started playing under that Primus Kamada banner a little under 2 years ago. Not sure if you maybe played in some smaller community tournaments. That's just what I could see as far as on Liquipedia, right? But I know for some people, when they start competing, it's more of that like, I'm going to start competing for the fun of competing and playing a video game versus one day I'm going to be like a champion mindset. So when you first started competitive Apex, did you see yourself being able to get to the point where you're at now, where a part of the highest scoring team in the ALGS split out of your region and like tied for second in the world with Fnatic?
Actually, yes. Before playing Apex, I used to play another game where I managed to get to the top, and I started playing Apex with the same confidence that I would also be able to get to the highest level.
Okay.
Since I first started playing competitively, I knew I was going to get to a pro level. Be it in a year or 2 or 3, it wouldn't matter how long it would take, because I wasn't going to give up halfway through.
So if you don't mind me asking, what were you playing competitively before Apex?
I wasn't playing it competitively, but it was CSGO bunny hopping.
Oh,
It was
okay.
a game, like a mini game, sort of.
I feel you.
It's also a bit of strafing lore there.
Okay.
That's kind of where my name strafing came from.
Okay, that makes more sense. I got it.
very much enjoyed the strafing mechanics of the Source engine.
Okay. So, I couldn't help but notice when I was kind of looking through Liquipedia. Obviously, you've been through, part of a couple of different teams. And even still at this point, some of the teams that you've been a part of in the past obviously have some cred in the region, right? Obviously, Pseudo Raikou disbanded. I know you were part of that roster briefly. But even Primus Kamada being one of those teams that we still competing out of the area, putting up some consistent results. I'm curious kind of what you feel like you were able to take away from those early comp experiences and like how they kind of prepared you for performing at the level that we see you performing at now.
I learned a lot from my early days of playing comp. My previous teammates helped me build the foundation for being able to IGL at the world stage, and I know we have yet to compete at a LAN, but I'm coming into this with the confidence that we'll be able to do extremely well.
Okay. So I know so you started on PK. We saw after that you joined a new roster. We saw you with Rocky, who actually you're going to be seeing also competing out of the region at London.
Yes.
Along with Player K, who was, of course, obviously your current teammate on Iron Blood Gaming under the team name BRP. At that point, y'all finished 7th during the second split last year. Just missed qualifying for Raleigh during that second chance qualifier. Tell me a little bit about the thought process at that point. I mean, obviously, you got close. Was it one of those things where you're thinking, man, I put a lot of time to this. Maybe do I invest some time elsewhere? Or was it like that, man, I'm so close. Like if I just do 1 or 2 more things, we're there.
To be completely honest, for the longest time, I failed to understand why people would consider quitting.
Yeah.
I know that sounds a little bit insensitive, but
I mean,
all
I
my
think
time
for some
playing Apex
mindset, you have
Legends.
to how you have to be successful, right?
Yeah. Like all my time playing Apex Legends competitively, anytime I'd fall short and fail, it had always turned into fuel for moving forward, doing better, trying harder. It wasn't until the second split of Pro League last year that I understood the soul-crushing feeling of failure. We were
Right.
unbelievably close to making it to land that split, and we'd come into the last week of Pro League, albeit needing a top two placement to be able to qualify for LAN.
Right.
But going into game 3, we were first place with a 10-point lead.
Mm,
In that same game, completely out of nowhere, a team landed on our POI and contested us. It threw the rest of our tournament off, and combined with the RNG of a battle royale, we ended up
right.
finishing 5th that day, just
Oh
barely
man.
missing land by a couple of points.
Yeah, I
The
think
real
overall,
heartbreak,
what I think you guys finished 7th in the standings for the split, right?
yeah. The real heartbreak for me was the last chance qualifier for championships,
Mm-hmm.
because while the second split of Pro League was a lot of like just RNG, bad games, and getting griefed by things outside of our control,
Right.
we had more than enough luck to be able to close out the day perfectly on the last chance qualifiers.
Right. Right.
And like we would have been able to get into end zone 6 out of 6 games just by rotating. But I
Mm,
was throwing game after game after game. I felt terrible. It was the first time in my life I've ever felt so helpless in the face of failure, and for a brief moment, I considered throwing in the towel.
yeah.
Immediately after the tournament ended, I told my teammates that I understood I played terribly, and I was extremely sorry for that. I'd not only screwed myself over, I'd screwed them over too. We had missed the land because of my performance, and I said to them that I knew there were going to be roster changes after this. I was ready to leave because it felt like I'd failed them. As Pricey was a free agent at the time, having been recently dropped from Team Burger for Woodsy, both
Right.
me and Player were expecting one of us to get dropped for him. That only
Mm.
partially happened. Rocky ended up leaving to join Pricey and Fussy, though at the time it felt shitty to say the least. It was a decision that I've come to be thankful for. Rocky had left me with Player K, and I wouldn't be where I am now without Player.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of hinted on, where I was actually going to be asking my next question out here. So after PK, you stuck with Player K, and you guys have been playing together. We saw you obviously very briefly. I mean, I think you guys did a team tryout for ATH. Then obviously you also were very briefly
Yeah.
on Raikou there as well. So but that was before you actually made the switch over to Chicken Sandwich and then now Iron Blood Gaming. So talk about, I know you said you're thankful for that bond, but tell me a little bit about the bond that you guys have formed, because was it like an instant chemistry sort of thing, or do you feel like that was something that like kind of took a little bit of time? Because the reason I ask, I know earlier this week when I was sitting down with Exodus, we kind of talked about when they made their roster change. It took a little bit of time on the adjustment, whereas, we've seen even like, let's say when we look back at Raleigh last year, right? We saw where Rambo stuck in very as a stand and like him and Nasty just popped instantly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't instant chemistry. We were definitely friends outside of teaming together. Me and Player got along quite well, and while at times I felt like I wanted to punch him, partially due to my own lack of maturity,
Right.
I consider him a close friend, and I know that I wouldn't have half of my current achievements without him.
So, I mean, it's definitely a lot farther than just the game, it sounds like, right? I mean, it feels like you kind of built more outside of that relationship. Probably it kind of helps build for that strength that we've
Yeah,
seen in
absolutely.
game too, right? It's kind of like that double edge where being better friends out of games makes you almost better have that chemistry in game,
Yeah. We try to, as much as we can, during important tournaments, we try to keep a positive environment, and I feel
Mhm.
like that's completely unleashed Player K. Like, he was insane before, but now he is like one of the best in the world.
Yeah, I mean,
Evolved.
I think leading the region in frags is split, right?
Yeah, and that's like playing crypto in the last 2 split days. Like, he's absolutely insane.
So now, obviously, Iron Blood Gaming isn't just the two of you guys. We saw y'all picked up Panda heading into this season, and the results for the team speak for itself, right? I mean, obviously, you guys had a very strong start to
Yeah.
the season, which you guys were able to kind of maintain and keep that first place spot going in. But and we talked about that importance of the relationship with you and Player K. But I'm curious, when it came time for getting ready for season 3, what were some of the factors for you when it came to making the pickup for Panda? Was that like an easy decision, or were you guys kind of looking for some different people, or what were you looking for, I guess is really the question.
Well, I wouldn't say it was too easy of a decision,
Mm-hmm.
but that was like not because of Panda's lack of skill. Panda he was performing at a level that surprised both me and player. And as player had also been wanting to pick up a controller third for a while. We ended up making the switch. Now they just 2v3 every fight. I kind of just sit at the back, do nothing.
I mean, you're the anchor, right? Everyone's gonna have to have a role. You gotta be able to hold it down.
Not exactly the anchor either. I kind of just run in and absorb bullets for them. That's just my job, unfortunately.
Hey, I mean, it seems to be working. Obviously, you guys, were able to put together quite the performance over this last split. And, over the course of this last split, we had also seen where Chicken Sandwich, y'all joined an org briefly, but I'm guessing that just wasn't the right fit there. But obviously now recently signed with Iron Blood Gaming. I was kind of wanted to dig in briefly into like kind of what that process looks like for a free agent team looking for representation, and what was it that like you guys were looking for as a team as far as in an org to really feel like it's the right fit, and what was it that made Iron Blood Gaming feel like the inevitable destination?
We were essentially just waiting for DMs from orgs. We'd like put up a LFO post, and then there isn't really much we can do after that. We ended up with IBG because the owner of the org was showing passion for the scene that I felt was sorely lacking from the other offers we got.
Okay.
But also, they were very accommodating, and we just felt like they were the right pick for us.
Well, cool. So obviously now you guys are under that Iron Blood Gaming banner. You all just got done crushing through Split 1, and we're just a couple of weeks away from London here now. Now the groups have been drawn for a while, and while obviously it'd be very easy to say that every group is stacked at LAN because it's like the best 40 teams in the world, but I think a lot of people would consider Group D to be like that group of death, right? Y'all got 3 regional winners, a lobby full of shooters. I mean, y'all got Raz, Tyler, Elysium. Obviously, you got your own shooters as well. We were talking about, the beast that has become a player, K kind of unleashing here. But, that's not even talking about the fact that you guys got the defending champs in your group as well. So, what were y'all's squad's like initial thoughts when you got the group drawing? And not only just that, but now that you've had time to digest, what's the game plan to make sure that Iron Blood Gaming not only gets the championship Sunday, but also performs at the level that both you and I know that y'all can?
We didn't really react too much to it. We're confident we'll be able to make the finals regardless of who gets put into our group. Loki, our coach, and myself, Loki is our coach, and myself are doing a lot behind the scenes to make sure everything goes smoothly in terms of macro and micro. I'm confident we can compete against all the top teams.
Yeah, and just in case there was anyone who didn't catch the clarification there, it's not saying that low key, the two of them, low key is the coach. But yeah,
yes.
So you guys been putting in the work, and I'm gonna be really excited to see what comes up. I'm expecting APAC South just as a whole to show up and show out, but I'm really excited to see kind of the performance that comes from Iron Blood Gaming just as themselves. I think because I kind of would like the extra bragging rights. Obviously you would too, but before we wrap up and get out of here, first off, again, thank you so much for your time. We're gonna make this quick. I know y'all just got done with scrim, so it's like really early in the morning. I really appreciate you staying up into the wee hours of the morning to give me just a little bit of your time.
No worries.
But as far as heading into before we get up out of here, we've really only talked about you as a competitor. So if there's anything else you want, let us know what you got going on. What socials can people find you on, and your content, stuff like that.
I wanted to add just real quick that Loki is a major part of our success, and I genuinely believe he's one of the best coaches in the world, if not the best. And we're going to slay out at LAN, and it's like that's going to be a big part. Obviously, it's just going to be us 3, but we would not be able to do it without Loki. And I know that's putting the cart before the horse, but I'm absolutely sure we're going to slay it at LAN.
I know I'm expecting. I think it's one of those things where some people will be looking the fact that obviously y'all don't have the LAN experience from prior, but I think if y'all play your game, I think it's definitely gonna be really, really exciting to see, and it's really cool to see you giving that nod to the coach as well, because I know he was obviously super excited to be able to be added into as an org coach now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So before we get out of here, tell us a little bit about, what you got going on. Where can people find you at, your content, stuff like that?
It's StrafingFlame on all socials, and I sometimes stream on Twitch. very irregularly though, as I am a terrible streamer.
Yeah, I saw some people talking about needing to get more of APAC South, streaming the scrims, but I think y'all should keep it under wraps. Let go ahead and prove the things at London. But yeah, I think once the season's off, you know, obviously once you prove your name over at London, we definitely got to get you streaming because, man, I love the vibes, and you've definitely been able to make a name for yourself this season. It's been a really, I know for me, I remember when one of the first tournaments I saw y'all in, everyone was wondering because I think y'all started performing on the chicken sandwich name like right after Burger got picked up, right?
I'm not too sure when we started playing under chicken sandwich, but we.
I swear, I think it's like right after Moise picked up Burger, and people were like, "So is this like the new Team Burgers?" And it's Team Burgers, and I'm like, "No, it's like literally a whole other team."
It was actually Loki's idea to play under chicken sandwich, and he was doing it while playing with other people. And we, with all the roster changes that happened, we ended up kind of just taking that team name when Loki joined us.
Yeah, ran with it, huh?
Yeah, we just ran with it.
Perfect. Well, again, Strafing, thanks so much for your time. If y'all enjoyed these interview style questions, these interview style like kind of content over here on the channel, I know we do some other stuff here as well, but let me know some other people you'd like us to try and sit down with here. We're still about 2.5 weeks away from London. I'm going to try and see if we can get a couple more of these in here. But also, if y'all enjoyed the vibes, man, this is a new channel. Make sure y'all leave a like and a comment. That helps me out with a good old algorithm. If y'all want to be back for the next video or the next watch party over here, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button and turn those notifications on. But until we catch y'all back over here for the next one, man, don't forget, with everything crazy going on in the world today, be true, be you, be sincere, game hard and love harder. That's StrafingFlame. I'm Q. Have a great rest of your day.
If you ain't show something, you just don't wanna be. You wanna be me, but you will never be.